If homeownership is so great, why do 90% of millennial homeowners regret their home purchase? Brand the Mortgage Man here, and I've helped more than 10,000 home buyers over my 22-year career, putting me in the top 1% of loan originators nationwide. And although homeownership is the right option for many people, it may not be the best for everyone. In this video, I'm going to review a survey of homeowners and regrets they have about buying homes in the first place. From there, I'll dive into the details of each reason, such as the unexpected costs of homeownership experience and regrets, advice on avoiding financial strain, realistic expectations of homeownership, and I'll provide general recommendations of things you can do to avoid running into the same issues these homeowners have. So let's get into it. So according to Real Estate Witch, which is a blog focused on buyers and sellers, a survey found that 90% of millennial homeowners regret their first home purchase. So of those surveyed, 28% of homeowners want to go back to renting due to the high costs of homeownership. 49% of homeowners are spending more on owning a home compared to renting. 42% think renting is easier, and 41% believe renting is less expensive than owning. 34% envy renters because they don't have to pay for property upkeep and maintenance. Well, what are the unexpected costs of homeownership that they're so concerned with? Well, homeowners spend about $18,000 annually on non-mortgage expenses. These include utilities at an average of about $5,300 per year, maintenance and repairs average of about $4,400 per year, home renovations around $3,800 a year, property taxes $3,000 plus per year, homeowners insurance $2,000 per year. Some of the rising costs of homeownership are attributed to increasing property values that have an effect on property tax assessments. Many homeowners were unprepared for costs like roof repairs, renovations, HVAC, and plumbing issues. So let's talk about some homeowner experiences and the regrets. Some regret their decisions due to unexpected expenses and maintenance issues, as I previously referenced. Some felt pressured into buying homes and later faced high repair costs and maintenance issues. Examples of some of those costly repairs include plumbing, AC replacements, and rising mortgage payments due to tax increases. So here's some advice on avoiding financial strain. It's important to have an emergency fund before finding a home. Having an emergency fund when buying a home is important for several reasons. 1. Unexpected repairs and maintenance. Homeownership comes with a range of maintenance responsibilities that can be costly and unexpected. Appliances may break down, the roof may need repair, or plumbing issues can arise. An emergency fund ensures that you have the financial cushion to address these situations without derailing your finances. 2. Property-related costs. In addition to the purchase price, there are many other costs associated with owning a home, such as property taxes, homeowners insurance, and utilities. These expenses can fluctuate, and you might encounter higher than expected bills, so it's important to have a buffer. Job loss or income disruptions. Even with a steady income, life can throw curveballs like job loss, reduction in hours, or illness. These affect your ability to pay the mortgage. Having an emergency fund can help you stay afloat and cover housing costs during such periods of financial instability. Moving costs and settling in. Buying a home typically involves costs beyond the purchase price: moving expenses, utility setup fees, home improvement projects, and furniture. An emergency fund can help cover these incidental costs that might arise as you settle into your new home. The mortgage payments. If you're putting down a significant chunk of your home's down payment, it can take time to rebuild your savings. If you run into an emergency before you have replenished your cash reserves, having a separate emergency fund helps ensure you can still cover your mortgage payments and avoid penalties or foreclosure. Avoiding debt. Without an emergency fund, you might be forced to rely on credit cards or loans to cover unexpected costs. This can lead to debt accumulation and higher interest payments. An emergency fund helps you avoid going into debt during times of financial stress. Peace of mind. Having an emergency fund gives you a sense of security. You won't be as stressed about minor financial setbacks because you know you have a financial cushion to fall back on. It allows you to enjoy your new home without constant worry about what might go wrong. So, how much should an emergency fund be? Well, financial experts recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses set aside. This includes mortgage payments, utilities, insurance, and general living costs. In some cases, you might want to aim for even more. especially if you're in a volatile job situation or own an older home that may need more maintenance. An emergency fund provides financial security, allowing you to handle homeownership's inevitable surprises without sacrificing your long-term financial health. You'll also want to delay major renovations until financially stable. Delaying major home renovations until you're financially stable is a smart decision for several key reasons. It helps protect your financial well-being, reduce stress, and ensure that you can enjoy the renovations without negative consequences down the road. Here's why it's important to wait until you're financially prepared. 1. You avoid financial strain. Renovations can be expensive and costs often run higher than expected. If you don't have enough savings, you may need to take out a loan, use credit cards, or dip into emergency funds. This can put a strain on your finances and lead to debt accumulation. By waiting until you're financially stable, you can avoid overextending yourself, ensure you don't jeopardize your day-to-day finances. You can manage unexpected costs. Even with a clear budget, home renovations tend to have unforeseen expenses. There could be issues with the home structure, outdated wiring, plumbing problems, or the need for unexpected permits. If you don't have a financial cushion, you might be forced to halt the project midway or take on more debt to cover surprises. Having ample savings ensures you can absorb these additional costs without stress. Protect your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is meant to cover unexpected life situations such as job loss, medical emergencies, not home improvements. If you use this fund for renovations, you may find yourself without a safety net in case something urgent arises. Renovating when you're financially stable and not relying on an emergency savings helps preserve your ability to handle true emergencies. Reduces stress and anxiety. Undertaking a major renovation project can be stressful, even under the best circumstances. If you're financially unstable or stretching your budget thin, the anxiety about money can be the renovation process even more difficult. Being financially prepared before you start gives you peace of mind and lets you focus on the design, not the financial burden. You also avoid the risk of compromising other financial goals. Buying a home is just one part of your financial picture. You may also have other important goals such as saving for retirement, paying off debt, or building up your children's college funds. Major renovations could divert funds from those objectives, delaying or derailing your progress. Waiting till you're financially secure ensures you don't sacrifice long-term financial health for short-term home improvements. Prevent cash flow problems. Renovations can take time and require multiple payments to contractors, material suppliers, and other vendors. If you're not financially stable, it can create a cash flow problem where you don't have enough liquid cash to meet your daily or monthly expenses because you're tied up in renovation costs. By waiting until you have enough money saved or have secured financing, you prevent this kind of issue. Improve renovation plans. When you're financially stable, you can approach renovations with a clearer, more thoughtful plan. You can choose the right contractors, the right materials, and timelines without feeling rushed to make decisions based on budget constraints. You may also have the opportunity to save for high-quality materials or make sure that your renovations align with your long-term goals. Increased home value and enjoyment. When you renovate with the proper financial backing, you're more likely to make better, more thoughtful decisions that will truly add value to your home and increase your enjoyment. You won't have to cut corners. You can invest in things that make the space more functional and aesthetically pleasing. This is especially important if you plan to sell the house later on, as quality renovations can significantly increase resale value. Avoid interest payments. If you finance your renovation project with a loan or credit cards, you may end up paying interest, which increases the overall cost of that renovation. By waiting until you have sufficient savings, you can avoid taking on high interest debt, saving you money in the long run. So, what's a safe financial position for renovations? Well, let's talk about an emergency fund. You should have a fully stocked emergency fund. It's 3 to 6 months of living expenses before starting a renovation project. You want a stable income. Ensure your income is stable and reliable so you can confidently manage both your regular living expenses and renovation costs. You want to avoid high interest debt. It's a good idea to pay off any high interest debts like credit cards before committing to large home improvements. You also should have a dedicated renovation fund. Set aside a specific fund for renovations so you're not pulling from other savings or financial goals. While it can be tempting to start renovations right away, delaying them until you're financially stable is one of the smartest ways to protect your long-term financial health and reduce stress. It allows you to renovate your home in a way that enhances both its value and your quality of life without the financial strain. One of the other big regrets for these home buyers was not knowing that their property taxes were going to jump up after they purchased their home. And something to keep in mind is that your property taxes will increase in the year following the one in which you buy your property. So what's important is that you need to run the property tax estimator for the home you're buying to get an idea of what the taxes might be once they're reassessed. Make sure your lender does this with you. And if they don't, go onto the county website for the property you're buying and use their tax estimator tool to find out exactly what your taxes will be once they're reassessed. Because it'll be a significant difference between what you close with and what it becomes 1 year later. And I also recommend to inquire about utility costs from the seller before purchasing the home. The seller already pays electric, they already pay insurance, they already pay water and sewer and so forth. You can find out directly from the seller of the property what those expenses run them on a monthly basis, so that way you're more familiar with what to expect once you own that property. Now, it's important to know that homeownership comes with benefits like building equity and generational wealth. It's also important to know that you need to be financially prepared and educated about all the costs associated with owning a home, as I've said. So make sure you're saving and planning for future expenses to avoid becoming house poor and having the same regrets that a lot of these home buyers have had. It's important to know that buying a home is not all rainbows and butterflies, but educating yourself will help you to understand what to expect once you do make the move from renting to owning. The more knowledge you have prior to buying a home will help you avoid feeling the way many buyers do that were surveyed. Owning a home should be a good experience, and the only surprises should be the ones you want. If you found this information helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can continue educating yourself on real estate and mortgages, and make sure to leave a comment below if you have questions about your own scenario. I reply to 100% of the comments left on my videos.